I want to briefly talk to you guys about an album that I just happened to stumble across, actually thanks to the help of a fan. Thank you very much, Adam. That is just, I had to talk about it, so we need to discuss this album, and that is, the band is named as Foot. Foot, you know, just like, you have two of them, you know, Foot, and the album is entitled Buffalo. These guys are from down under, they're from Australia, and they are a desert rock / stoner metal band that I really think this is a genre that is oftentimes overlooked by a lot of listeners, which is odd considering if you really look around and you know, kind of search the internet superhighway, there's a ton of bands that actually fit this description and fit it very well, with, you know, there being channels such as Stone Metal of Doom and Stone Metal of Doom 2 that really do showcase a lot of these groups and give them a chance to sort of shine and maybe find an audience among their subscribers and hopefully among other metal fans that just so happen to stumble upon them. So that's kind of a good place to start if you're interested in this style of music. But these guys, I find them to have a lot of those stoner qualities that you would see in even like an Elder. There's a little bit of progression here and there, but there's a lot more straightforward riffing that you get from this band. So that's where the desert rock style sort of comes into play. They do have a little bit more focus on some of their hypnotic riffage than trying to really take some ideas that sort of just fit the stoner bill, or, you know, seems like it's very much within the genre description, and then add other things to really collectively give it a full breadth. So, understandably so, this is a group that is going to use their framework and their structure and just some really interesting sounds in order to grant you a great album. And that's actually what Buffalo is. I'm just going to spoil it right out of the way. Especially whenever you consider tracks such as Lied, which is the 6th cut off of this album, that really shows a little bit more diversity. It is a slower cut that does give you a little bit more oomph, and the lyricism and the vocalization especially on this does have a little bit of a different feel to it. But I really liked what I heard initially right whenever I tossed this on and heard Thunder Cave for the very first time, which is the 7.5-minute opener. I liked how these riffs just felt very big, and it had a great enclosure to it, which means that everything sort of cascaded around you and sort of surrounded itself within you, and it drew you in, or drew me in at least, based off of this. It is an album in Buffalo that feels like it is trying its best to ensnare you within its clutches, and does a great job in doing so. It's not very foreboding, and it's not one that has a lot of that feeling that you are sort of distancing yourself away. You don't find yourself looking at the time that you have remaining on the album and sort of dreading the fact that maybe there's 20 minutes left. Instead, you're looking at that as the album is getting pretty close to its completion point, thinking, damn, this is almost over already. It's a 42-minute long album, and Thunder Cave, with those 7.5 minutes, does show you kind of what you're set up for. That you are going to have those swirling riffs that are going to feel big and feel like they just sort of pulse and gyrate within your ears, which may sound a little suggestive, but it feels just as suggestive. You're feeling very comfortable as you listen to this, and everything feels like it has a great and proper place. They built this album very carefully, and you get into Cactus and even into Live, Laugh, Love, which is a, you know, 3-word statement that I just absolutely abhor, but the song itself is fantastic. You know, everything and every song in this album feels like it has its proper place here. It's not out of place, or doesn't feel like it deviates too much from the overall themology of the album. It is one that has that sort of openness of the desert rock. It's one that does have that desolation of kind of having the music vibrate upward toward the heavens and be the guide, perhaps, for the follower. You know, desert rock's always, to me, kind of been a genre that's been like a, what is that, like a spirit animal, and you do a vision quest, and this is sort of the experience that you have, only with a far fewer amount of psychedelics in your system. But it is very direct at places. It is an album that also really maintains its focus, keeps its composure, and does not deviate too far away from what it knows and what it loves. In the future, I think Foot would be very remiss to, you know, try to stray too far away, but I do see where the building blocks could potentially come from, and that's where you get the second half tracks such as Lied, either that or even Low Mist, that does show this group's ability in order to harbor a lot of atmosphere and deliver very strong and very memorable final cuts, which leaves that album's memory even more fresh in your mind and immediately makes you consider, do I want to just pop this back on and listen to it again because you enjoyed the experience? It's part of that whole, damn, I can't believe it's over already mentality, where you see that you don't have a lot left and you're still enjoying it and you're still feeling very connected to this music. And that's exactly what Buffalo by Foot does, and does very, very well. So far, this is the album of the year for me, honestly, and we're only in January, so take absolutely no stock in this. It's my first real piece of essential, you need to listen to this music, and I'm glad for the recommendation, Adam, because you certainly did not disappoint with this one. This is a 26 out of 30. I love this album. I have listened to this album already 3 times in just a short period of time. It's just not one that is getting any worse. I love what these guys do. I think they have a great future. I think they have a very bright future, and they just need to have some of that exposure to really help out with that. So I'm going to leave a link to the YouTube video down in the description box below, as well as their Bandcamp. If you really like what you hear, hop on over to their Bandcamp and drop them some support. These guys are up and coming, and they definitely could use the help a little bit in order to have that up and coming status transform themselves into very well received and well loved veterans. Once you do listen to this album, come on back and let me know what you think about Buffalo from Foot. I really want to know your opinion. Do you think these guys could be this year's like Elder, or do you think they have a chance to become part of the pantheon of stoner rock or stoner metal in the future? Do you think they have the chops? Do you think they have? Are they deserving of the rub? Let me know. I'm Cover Killer Nation. I'll talk to you guys next time.